In philanthropy, I think impact investors are catalysts, right? And so a lot of things that need to start need a catalyzer. We all have ideas. We may want to try things out, and you need a trusted ally or a friend or someone who actually believes in you to help get you started, because we don't exist in this world alone. And I believe being in good relationship with people is fantastic. It's the currency of our kingdom. And impact investors are really clear that their investment, their time, their support can make a world of a difference. So that's why I'm here. It's been fun, and it has been a privilege to be creative with capital. One of the things that we found is that a lot of fund managers or investors, people who are investing in businesses with products and services, they are technically small businesses. And the field doesn't necessarily see them as such all the time, so they don't get the operating or the working capital that they need to get their marketing team, to get the lawyers, the accountants, and all the things that they need. And that is because people assume, well, if you're an investor, you must have some cash somewhere because you made a little bit of money and you're just going to use that to cover your expenses. While that may be true, it's not necessarily enough, especially when you're thinking about Black, brown, indigenous, and female investors. If you lack generational wealth, you don't necessarily have all of the resources necessary to cover yourself for 18 to 24 months while you raise money and deploy capital. So we played around with a pilot working capital investment in a number of fund managers across venture capital and private equity. And one standout investment is a private equity investor who we provided an operating loan. He needed a line of credit. He was in a private equity firm, and then he went out on his own, and he kept getting told no. So we took the risk and we said, well, let's see if this working capital loan, this thesis that we have, will really work. And it did. Because we gave him that loan, he was able to get an anchor investment and stand up his fund. And he's raising up to $100 million on his own. But in the process of the capital raise that he's doing, he's also been able to begin investing. And so he's invested in 11 companies across 5 platforms. Here's what's fun about this particular investment. This gentleman, because of our money, he got a big name investor. I won't give all his business here, but got big name investors. And when he bought companies, he made sure that everybody stayed in place. He provided an educational benefit to the employees. He provides paths to ownership. He provides, he upgrades healthcare benefits, and he does a ban-the-box approach so that no one is left out of an opportunity. And so because of that, he's created several jobs, supported several families, and he is building a model that other private equity investors can adopt. You don't have to be extractive in your private equity approach. And I think this particular investment, this gentleman, I can say Jacques Mel Group, he is proving that out. So first and foremost, we're really focused on investment thesis. What are people investing in and why? A lot of the people in our network are focused on women, they're focused on community, they're focused on good health, they're focusing on getting good products in the marketplace. And so what we try to do in terms of our criteria is not necessarily see that as a carve out or special. We normalize it. It's normal to want to invest in a company that provides good health benefits and good health products to the field. It's normal to want to invest in a company that centers its employees and creates paths to ownership. It is normal. And so for us, we want to look at more than just the financial returns. We want to understand the social returns, the returns that are connected to our planet, because we don't just live in a world where money is enough, right? We're in relationship. We need a healthy environment. We need good relationships. We need thriving communities. We need people to be well and mobile. And so when you're investing and you're only thinking about the bottom line in terms of dollars and cents, I actually think it's a missed opportunity. And it's also why we have so much inequality in our system. The thing that I will add to that, because some people may see this and say, yeah, but we need to just focus on financial returns, financial returns, financial returns. Well, that's what we've been doing, and look where it's got us. Look at the wealth gap. Look at the economic inequality. Look at what we've lost in our GDP. Just run the numbers. Take away the faces and the gender and the politics. Just look at the numbers, because we've only been focused on that and getting the most that we can get. we have missed out on so much opportunity, and our economy can't be productive that way. And so our criteria is thinking about how are we expanding the definition of productivity? How are we expanding the definition of what it means to be wealthy and well in community? How do we think about sort of our democracy being run, or not necessarily our democracy? How do we think about how we are working as a collective? Because I am because you are because I am. And so we have to be thinking from a sort of a collaborative perspective in order to see real wealth and well-being in our communities and economy. People are free to make the choices they want, to live, work, play, worship, and be. There's it's for me. It's a freedom. It's a feeling of freedom. It's about being able to have what you need to pursue purpose and be prosperous. It's about being and engaging in systems that are inclusive by default. It is about centering humanity. And I actually have the audacity to believe that we can exist in a place where we're more optimistic and we have a positive outlook and the energy is just flowing and it's real, and we don't have to be and feel downtrodden all the time. There's just something about, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there is something about being in a space where everything feels competitive in a way that's not productive. It's not healthy. And where we tear each other down. That's not okay. And it doesn't have to be okay, and we don't have to live like that. We need a mental model shift. What do you believe is possible, right? And how do we behave into those beliefs? I believe that we can be wealthy and well, and wealth is not just about money. Like, I think of a broadened definition, and I used to fight with friends, and when we were designing our approach with Black Gravity, wealth. Yeah, okay, so I could have a bunch of money, but I could still walk into a hospital and not get the care that I need. So I'm not well, right? So that's because they don't see me in my humanity, and we have not centered what people need to be well in our economy, to be good to our climate, to do, all the things. Anyways, wealth and well-being are connected. The reason we prioritize Black people, global indigenous, and women is because they, the disparities, they suffer from the worst outcomes, and not because of their own doing. The system was not designed to include us. So how do we create a system that includes all of us so that we can have a richer future for everyone? So we are not doing that to the exclusion of others. We're just recognizing who's suffering the most and why, and how we solve problems there. And if we can come up with solutions that include the people who have largely been left out, everybody will benefit. So first of all, I'm so grateful for the Certain Foundation and their investment. They're just a leader among institutions and how they work with their grantees and folks in community. So this $1 million investment is to catalyze Equipped, which is a scaled pilot that is offering working capital to fund managers across asset classes. So the story I shared earlier about Jacques Mel, he was part of an earlier pilot, and because it worked and some others worked, we thought, we got to do more of this. What Black Gravity is doing with Equipped is we're going to prove out that this can happen with more than just a handful of fund managers. And when we prove that out, we want big banks like JP Morgan Chase or Morgan Stanley or Bank of America to then put on their books $500 million, a product that will offer working capital to fund managers so that they can raise their funds faster, make good investments in people. The Certain Foundation's seed is going to make that possible. And because that's possible, we will see over $1 billion in capital mobilized. We will see tens of thousands of jobs created, and you will see an exponential increase in businesses starting, growing, and being sustained.